You know, every single place, from the city you live in to that one old building you pass every single day, it has a hidden story. A whole secret life, really, just waiting for someone to find it.
I mean, really think about that for a second. The place you think you know so well, what if it's hiding a completely different personality, just right under the surface? Because, let's be honest, most of us only ever see the surface. We see the familiar streets, we go through our daily routine, and we know the reputation the city has today. We get kind of comfortable with that one version of the story.
But if you just dig a little bit deeper, oh, that's where you find these incredible layers of history and weirdness and life that tell a much, much more interesting tale. And that's exactly what we're going to get into in this explainer.
Okay, so let's dive right in with our first case study, San Jose, California. Now, this is a city that most people feel like they have all figured out, but I promise you, its past is so much wilder than you could possibly imagine. So just look at the contrast here. It's pretty stark, right? On the left, you've got the San Jose everyone thinks they know, the capital of Silicon Valley. Tech innovation, suburban sprawl, the whole deal. But on the right, that's its secret identity. It was actually California's first capital, and it had a reputation for being, well, let's just say it was a bit of a party.
And this quote pretty much sums it all up. California's very first legislature was so famously boozy and literally bogged down in mud, we're talking 36 inches of rain that year, that they eventually just packed up and moved the capital. It was just too wild to get anything done.
And the city's personality goes so far beyond just politics. It's this fascinating, kind of chaotic soil that seems to grow the most unexpected things. Just think about this mix. You get the very first Chuck E. Cheese, which was built on the land that's now the super luxe Santana Row. You get the invention of Eggo waffles. You get the creative minds behind cartoons that defined a generation, like Invader Zim and Rocko's Modern Life. Even the bands Smash Mouth and the Doobie Brothers got their start here. Seriously, you have to wonder what was in the water that allowed for such a bizarre and brilliant collision of culture.
But here's the thing, and this is really important. These hidden stories aren't always fun and quirky. They can be deeply complex and disturbing. For example, San Jose was the site of a horrific lynching in 1933. And what's just shocking is that one of the mob's leaders was the child actor Jackie Coogan, who many of us would later know as Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. It's a shocking, complicated layer of the city's identity you just can't ignore.
So these complex layers, the light and the dark, they aren't just unique to San Jose. So now let's zoom in a little bit, from the scale of an entire city down to a single building to see how the same idea plays out. We're heading to Tucson, Arizona, and the historic Hotel Congress.
This line, from the hotel's own tour description, just sets the stage perfectly. It's not just a building, it's a living witness. It's basically telling you that the past here, well, it isn't really past at all.
And this just brilliantly shows the hotel's incredible journey. It started out simply enough, a stop for people traveling on the railroad. But then, in 1934, a fire accidentally exposed the hideout of one of America's most infamous gangsters, John Dillinger, leading to his capture right there. Today, that history is a massive part of its DNA as this huge cultural landmark.
And this is the hotel's secret identity. It's totally living a double life. In the afternoon, you can take a haunted tour and try to connect with the ghosts of its past. But then, by night, that exact same space completely transforms into a packed, high-energy venue for punk bands and DJ nights.
And the calendar of events today is just incredible. This is where you really see the building's living, breathing soul. I mean, you'll see something on the schedule called Spaghetti Cumbia, and you just have to know what that is.
Then, on another night, that same stage might be hosting a queered science cabaret, which is this amazing blend of space science with burlesque and drag performance. Flip the page on the calendar, and you could find yourself at a full-on musical tribute to the surreal films of David Lynch, proving no cultural niche is too strange for these walls.
And of course, just to round it all out, there's a classic emo night for good measure. Every single one of these wildly different events just proves that this historic building is not some dusty museum piece. It is alive, and it's constantly reinventing itself, making brand new stories every single night.
So, we've looked at the hidden tales of a city and the living, breathing pulse of an old hotel. So, what's the big takeaway here? What's the point?
I think the key thing is this. History and culture aren't just things you read about in books. They are physically embedded in the places all around us. Our world is a tapestry of these stories, just hiding in plain sight.
And all of this is really an invitation for you to become an explorer in your own world. And it really only takes 2 simple steps. First, look a little closer at the things you see every day. And second, ask a few questions about how they got to be that way.
Because whether it's a wild story about a rowdy legislature, the birthplace of a waffle, or a hotel that refuses to forget its past, every single place has a secret. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. What story is your town waiting to tell?